You are doing this Everest film, this true
Yeah.
life story
Yeah.
about Tenzing Norgay and
Yep.
Edmund Hillary.
Yep.
The more I read about it, the more fascinating it is. This is from a documentary filmmaker who's now doing a narrative.
Yeah.
And just talk to me. This has to be as much an adventure as an acting exercise for you. What's it been like so far?
It's absolutely that. So we're about halfway through, and it is the adventure of a lifetime. And again, I'm kind of so grateful for the opportunity. I have been obsessed with Everest all my life. It's just the idea of it has always compelled my imagination. And I remember my dad telling me about Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary when I was really young, and the altitude and stuff, and the experience is so new and so thrilling because I'm doing things I've never done before, and I think we're telling a story that hasn't been told before in this way, and it's so extraordinary to think about that in May of 1953, a group of people, a group of extraordinary individuals came together and achieved the impossible and went into the unknown, and after which it became known and possible. And it takes such imagination and courage to do that. Because nobody had been that high before. No one knew it was possible, and the detail of the expedition and the relationships between the different characters. It was a British expedition that was essentially sponsored by the Royal Geographical Society, and Nepal had only been open to people traveling from the West to explore it for 3 or 4 years before that. I think it was 1949, 1950. And all previous attempts on Everest had been from the Chinese side, the Tibetan side. And so this was completely uncharted territory, and was led by a British colonel called John Hunt. And there were, I think, 20-odd Western climbers, many of them British, 2 of them Kiwi, and the extraordinary inclusion of Tenzing Norgay, who had climbed, nearly summited with a Swiss climber called Raymond Lambert in 1952, and he knew Everest better than anyone and had more experience on the mountain, and he was also in charge of the Sherpas there were many Sherpas who were, and the Sherpa community were from the Himalayas. They were rooted there as a community, as a culture, and they were brilliant and natural mountaineers. And our story really centers Tenzing and centers the contribution of the Sherpas, and Jennifer Peedham, who's directing it, has such deep experience and knowledge of. She directed a documentary called Sherpa,
Right.
and if you haven't seen it, is absolutely brilliant. Really about Everest and about how approaching the idea of Everest and the mountain has changed over recent years, and Tenzing's journey towards being that man in that moment on that mountain with those people, and those relationships, and it's hard to. We haven't finished it yet. So
Yeah, no, I get it. But you're surrounded by some interesting Willem Dafoe, right?
Willem Dafoe is playing
Katrina Balfe
John Hunt. Katrina Balfe is playing Jill Henderson, who was really influential in the selection of the team. She was someone who was based in that part of the world at that time,
If you need any Outlander talking points, the only person I might have interviewed more than you is Katrina Ball.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We did spend some time together as a group. I got to say my talking points didn't incline in that direction.
I get it. You have more to talk. You have some climbing to talk about. You got some other stuff.
But it is an amazing, I have to say, it's like there is an ensemble of about 15 of us. And we're really closely bonded. And the extraordinary thing that Jen has done is she's put us all in the environment. So we've actually just spent a month in Nepal, and I spent some time in the Khumbu Valley and in the foothills of Everest and in the Himalayas, and it's so inspiring. It's really humbling because you walk through that landscape, and it's not possible. It's impossible not to be struck by the timelessness of these mountains.
Right.
And they are these giants that have been there for hundreds of years and will endure for hundreds more. And it's sort of like we're only here for a brief time to walk amongst them. So yeah, we were all really, really bonded, and we have miles to go.
Amazing.
Miles
literally,
to climb.
Metaphorically and literally.
Yeah. And Hillary was an extraordinary character. Like, the more I learned about him, he was just like really, 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 really remarkable man, and also uniquely placed at that exact moment in time to be there. Really extraordinary guy.
We have time to talk about that one. You still have to finish the movie. I don't want to do the press junket now before the movie's done.
Okay.